yourself. So yeah, today I wanted to chat a little bit about the holiday today and also what happened yesterday. And it was interesting that I didn't even anticipate that I was gonna host this gathering. It'll probably be a smaller gathering, but it just seems so strangely coincidental that we had this huge eclipse and then we have this age old holiday from, we call it a pagan holiday because but I invite us to kind of step away from the labels of paganism even. And pagans to me are people that see the trees and the earth as alive, and they're connected to the earth. So this is an age old holiday for people who, and it's Celtic holiday, and Celts were very much connected to the earth and the land. And so just to start off, we had this eclipse yesterday and it was big energy. And so if there's and it's new moon, so we're going to both events yesterday and today are seeding days, right? So when we're really in the rites of spring, but we're going to do a little ritual. In Beltane they did cleansing, and then they did fertility rites, and it was very much a holiday centered around female fertility. It's when the maiden transitions into the mother goddess in the maiden mother crone triad. So there was also, it's fertility rites and seeding. So we're going to do a little bit of cleansing, and then we're going to do some seeding, and that's perfectly in tune with the eclipse from yesterday. So that we have two eclipses coming in a couple week period. So this is a partial solar eclipse, happens on the new moon, which is a super big new moon. And I mentioned in the podcast, this particular year is a tipping point for many people who are talking about the Yuga cycles and the shift of the ages and the Mayan calendar. So it's a kind of a really intense shift, but eclipses can be 3D, very in your face, or they can also be super subtle and higher dimensional. So it's interesting if you think about what happens with cuspy, so a couple days before yesterday, and let's just keep your eyes open into a couple days after as to how you're feeling, and let it be a wave that you can ride, and realize that nothing is forever, but there might be some intense downloads, there might be some needs for intense clearing or realizations. And then that's going to bring us into the next eclipse, which happens on the full moon, and that's going to be in probably even more powerful eclipse, just because it's a full moon versus a new moon. But it's neat that we get to have both of these holidays converge, or experiences, the eclipse and the Beltane holiday. So Beltane, as I mentioned, halfway between the spring equinox, which is equal light, equal dark, and the summer solstice, which is the lightest day of the year. And so it's very much right in the middle of spring. And so in cleansing rites, when they used to do it, they would either have two huge bonfires at night, and often this holiday was celebrated at night. So I'm going to give us some things that we can consider doing later on today or this evening if you want to have your own personal rituals. But for our purposes, I have a couple candles lit back here that we'll use, but they would have two big bonfires, and they would believe that they would walk through between them. They'd send their cattle through between them, and somehow by going through these two bonfires, they would be ritually cleansed. It's also a time where they would take ritual baths. So you could consider a foot soak or a salt bath, or we're going to be using sage, but sage and salt are going to be really easy for us to use in cleansing. And then this was also the holiday that is the origination of the maypole, which is interesting because there may be many people, I don't think any, it's funny to me that, Catholic schools used to do the maypole dance, and I don't know that they realized that was actually a pagan holiday to celebrate the fertility goddess. But it's funny that this is also, and the maypole was actually also a May tree. So if you think about it, before the phallic pole, there was a goddess tree. And the thing that they would do, so that in the maypole, you have all those ribbons and you make a pretty little a pattern as the girls dance around the pole. Girls dancing around a pole is an interesting phallic symbol, right? But before that, there was a tree, and people took, and we're going to do it, they took natural ribbons and they infused them with their intentions. And one of the things that they also used to do, if anybody needed healing, they would take a piece of a person's clothing, go to the local sacred well, infuse it with intentions for healing, tie it to the tree, let the tree take care of it. So they really saw trees as people, as sentient beings. So the maypole is a phallic adaptation to the May tree, which is almost like a Yule tree, because they would decorate it, but they wouldn't decorate it. Often it's a ribbon that's infused with intentions. And it's kind of like when Tibetans hang up the prayer flags, they give the wind horses all their intentions. And they believe that the tree spirits, especially, but all the elemental spirits, take that intention and go. So I love that we get to kind of reclaim the beauty of this holiday. So we're going to be doing a few things here with that. And I wanted to, well, let's start off by just doing a little bit of a meditation to think about what our themes might be, and then we'll get into the ritual. So we're not, just kind of get yourself comfortable, and we'll quickly just kind of drop into, you can close your eyes and just feel your sit bones and your hips and your bottom, wherever you're connected to your chair or the floor, and just take a second, just like a tree, root down. So send those roots down. And imagine, trees are such wonderful metaphors, as above, so below. So your tree roots are just going to go down and out, and let it be this deep dive into the earth. Feel how safe and solid Mother Earth feels. Feel how just sturdy. And this is Taurus season right now. So this is a super earthy holiday. This is a really grounded holiday. So just get your roots down there so you could feel like you're home and you're stable and you're solid. And then as you are just experiencing the energetics and the metaphor of the tree, just, imagine your whole body, just like a toroidal field. That's your trunk. And then as you come up and out the top of your head, there's this beautiful blossom of the tree limbs, the tree leaves. And so imagine this is just this, it's your crown chakra connected into the spiritual world. And also as your leaves are extending out, they're connecting to all of the natural world. So everything's connected. So you're receiving energy from spirit. You're connected to the green energy of the natural world. And let's bring ourselves down to our roots and start to pull up the golden energy of earth. So we're going to become this kind of trifold source of energy. So you're pulling golden energy up through your roots. You're experiencing green energy from the natural world, giving it and receiving it. And you're pulling beautiful white light down from spirit. And you are all of this, and all of this is you. And this is and you might even notice what kind of tree you are. And as you are both your human body and this tree, let's think about the idea of cleansing. And let this be maybe a little bit subtle or intuitive. What's ready to go? What fear? What reservation? What limitation thought form is just kind of lingering, where you're ready to release it right now? Just make a note of anything that comes up. Maybe something yesterday really came into your mind as to something that's ready to go. And then this is also a seeding holiday. So bring your attention to what pops into your awareness as you are this tree connected to the natural world of what you're ready to call in. And it might even just be really stepping into how expansive you are, how powerful you are, how beautiful you already are, how worthy you already are, how magical you already are, or anything else that's, particular to your day-to-day life. This might also be something that comes in the next few days. We're just going to start here with this gathering and this ritual. So all we're doing right now is getting some themes when we go to the actual ritual. So just kind of let yourself be this energetic tree. And also let yourself be in your physical body. So you're still kind of extended up and out, you're rooted down in, but come back into your body, come back into this gathering, and I wanted to share a little bit about the herbs that are associated with this ritual, this holiday, and really let it be more expansive, because I believe that, there was very specific trees that the Celts used for different holidays. And, it's so interesting that the one that they used for this holiday is um, the oak. But I'm going to share the herbs that we're going to use, and they're kind of traditional for Beltane. But the message that came through this morning was just look at what's around you. Whatever's around you, whatever's blooming, whatever tree it is, that's your medicine, that's your magic. So there's rules, but there's no rules. And depending on which part of the world you are, this is maybe something that was more specific to the climate of the Celts also. So what we have here is I picked some oak leaves, little sprigs from a local oak tree. And I wanted to share with you a little bit of the meditation about the oak. So I have we're going to do a couple different, we're going to do one particular thing with tarot, but this is the oak from this book, The Celtic Tree Oracle. And it's all related to the runes. And it talks about how oak is associated with Beltane. And oak is a tree of prosperity and fertility and abundance, which makes sense that it's super rooted. It's green all year long, many of them. Some of them are deciduous, but it's associated with this rite of passage in the spring. And I wanted to read the meditation or the message from the oak as was channeled by the author of this deck, Sherilyn Hidalgo. And she says, I am the steady, faithful oak. Seek me and sit with me. I am old, strong, and grounded. I will take your troubles and let them flow into Mother Earth for their transmutation. She knows what to do with the energy. I am the promise of spring. You can see my energy in the budding flowers. I am the daffodils and the tulips come to life. I am all of the little wild animal creatures in nature, the squirrels, the rabbits, raccoons, and possums. They all come together under my sacred space. Come and sit in my grove, which is the most ancient of temples and churches. Nature is your home. You are safe here and you are nurtured. Breathe me in and breathe me out. I will help you to remember your true nature. You are loved and you are beautiful. You are perfect already. You have everything you need to manifest your dreams and desires. It is time to begin. This beginning is like the acorn that is a mighty symbol of growth and regeneration. What you begin has the potential to grow into a great oak tree of your own manifestation. All right, and I just love that, because that's the profoundness of, I believe, this particular Beltane that's right on the heels of this eclipse, as we're right at the apex of this energy. So think about yourself as this little mighty acorn, right? These little baby seed, because we're seeding, but that acorn turns into this vastly powerful, expansive tree. And that's part of the message that's coming through, is that anything is possible, and it's up to us to get out of our own way. So some of the plants that we're going to be using, everything in my yard today was purple. There's a little lavender here. The sage is starting to bloom. It's purple. There's some borage, and there's some little purple flowers that I don't know what the names are. So something more traditional would be sage, and nettles are a traditional Beltane herb, because nettles are really deeply nourishing. Sage is because it's cleansing and protecting. But whatever's around you, and lavender is calming and opening. Whatever plants are around you is what I'm going to encourage you to use. So we're going to begin with this ritual. Now that we have our, I'm going to turn and use a couple little sage sticks here in a second, but now that we have our intentions and we kind of understand the theme, let's drop back into our meditative space and come into your body, come into your breath. Again, connect down first, connect down into your sit bones. Feel your roots go down. Maybe you're an oak tree, maybe you're just your favorite tree, whatever tree you are. Send those roots down. And there's an energetic exchange. We're going to pull the golden energy of Mother Earth up, but when we're going to be cleansing, we can also, as the reading just said, we can also send it down for her to transmute. Bring yourself up into your trunk and up into your branches, and simultaneously connect out to all the natural world that's just waking up from spring. Plants, the animals, the other trees, sentient beings, green energies coming from all directions around you. And then from above you, this beautiful white light. Spirit source, maybe even downloads from the eclipse itself. So here you are in your physical body, but you're connecting with the energy of the tree, potentially deer, oak, but whatever tree you are. And we're going to begin with calling to mind whatever it was that was up, came up for cleansing. And if it's something that you know, let it be that you know it. And I've got some sage here, and imagine this sage is moving in a counterclockwise direction around you just to allow you to be purified. Counterclockwise northern hemisphere is releasing. Also imagine that you're sending down into Mother Earth any of these stuck energies, old energies, latent energies, anything that's, you know, you've been on this path for quite some time. It's still just kind of like a clog in the energetic system. And imagine also you're sending whatever those little particles that might be clogging you up down into Earth. She's capable of transmuting everything. So we're just cleansing ourselves here. And what we're going to do next is we're going to call in the 4 directions. So we're going to just address the direction where the sun rises, the east. The element for that direction is the air. Just by us addressing east, addressing the element air, the color is golden yellow. The archangel is Michael. Nope, it's not. It's Raphael. So addressing all those things, and they're all present just by us conjuring them up. We're going to turn a quarter clockwise turn to face the south, the element of fire. Archangel Michael's there. The color is red. So this is very kindred to Beltane because it's a holiday where they used fire to purify. And another quarter clockwise turn, we'll turn to the west where the sun sets. Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, the color blue, the element is water. In your awareness, turn another quarter clockwise turn to address the north, element earth. Archangel Uriel, trifold color, deep green, burnt orange, and black. One more quarter clockwise turn to return to where you started, the east. And so in this sacred circle, all of these energies, avatars are here. And you can imagine that you are your own sacred circle as you've invoked this energy of this sacred tree. And as the reading mentioned, trees were the earliest versions of sacred ritual spaces and cathedrals. So feel all of these entities have arrived and they're listening now. They're listening to you. And what they're going to be listening to now is what you want to seed, what you want to plant. And I'm going to take this piece. This is jute with white lace. I'm just going to hold it in my hands as we energetically send into this piece of ribbon, whatever the intentions are. It might be something that you can articulate. It might just be a feeling. Take some time now to vibrate, to visualize, to feel, to imagine, to get even more creative with what it is. Feel the joy, feel the ease, feel the expansiveness of it. Part of the keys to what we're awakening to is we are already everything we seek. It's all possible. Even more than we think is possible is possible. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time here. Sending this energy into this particular piece of ribbon, and also just let your own sacred space vibrate so that all the directions, all the archangels, all the elements, all the colors, they've got their energetic ears open. They're just listening to what it is that you want to create. And this is very akin to the idea of alchemy. This is working with the elements, working with the natural world, working with our own ability to harness our energy. The more you vibrate towards what you want to feel, the more you're telling the universe that is what you want. All right, so and I'm going to light a sacred tree to South America, Palo Santo. Palo Santo is a tree that I love the story of Palo Santo because it's a tree whose bark is sacred and super aromatic. But the thing about this tree bark is you can't, in a patriarchal fashion, cut it down and harvest it. It has to naturally die. It's to naturally cure. Only when it naturally dies and cures does any of the aromatics come from this piece of wood, from this tree. So it's reminding us of the interconnectedness of everything and the sacredness of the natural world. So now just imagine you're breathing in this sacred smoke from this tree that is supporting mankind and getting off of linear patriarchal thinking and back to earth-based thinking, being vibration. And with this, we're going to prepare to say that we are complete for now, but this ritual, as I'm going to address in a little bit, this ritual is probably going to go on later on today. I'm certainly going to take this and tie this to the mama oak that's on this property. So we can say for right now, and so it is. And depending on how you want to practice, you can thank all the elements in one fell swoop, call them off. I suggest thank them, but invite them just as you've got this sacred circle, say thank you, send a pulse of gratitude out in all directions, invite them to stay with you through this day for as long as is needed to support this seeding, to support what you've put into this piece of jute. So acknowledging the elements, the directions, the colors, calling them in and thanking them is all we really need to do to close this part of the ritual. And then with that, we're going to come back to our gathering. And what I wanted to do next was, we'll first invite you to just kind of slowly come back. Keep yourself rooted. Keep yourself open as this tree still. And as you go about the rest of your day, consider what trees are around you. Consider what flowers are around you. Consider what animals you see. When I woke up, when I was out there yesterday in the yard, there were literally 200 ladybugs. It made me so happy. And ladybugs are a symbol of happiness. It's a symbol of spring. And then this morning when I woke up, the first thing that greeted me were two little bitty baby frogs. And this is perfect because frogs are symbols of metamorphosis. So that tells us that the energy that's in the air is sweet and it's joyful and it's happy and it's deeply transformational. Frogs go from this little baby tadpole to this thing with legs that comes out from the water and goes into another entire different world. And I think that's really cool for the energy of today, because what's coming through is we've only just begun to dream and to manifest. And we're still this little tadpole that maybe has a couple legs. Maybe we're going to pull our head up above the water, but we haven't even really been in the next version of the world. We might not even know. So what we're going to do next is it's a Beltane tarot spread, but what I'm going to invite you to do, since we're gathered here together, and the cards I'm using are the Nature's Whispers cards. I love these. It's full of butterflies. It feels very much like spring. So I'm going to pull 5 cards total. I'll walk through. There's going to be an overarching message, I think, for all of us who have gathered together, and for anybody who watches this later. There'll be a theme that you'll pick up on, but also as you're just still in your meditative space, notice which number resonates most for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and just take a second and see where you get the hit of a number. Maybe it's a sequence of numbers. All right, so and with that, we're going to have our first card. Card number 1 tells us it's to celebrate differences. So this card it's got a nautilus shell, it's got a unicorn, it's got all the kingdoms. It's reminding us that everything is necessary, that there is no black and white, that we don't need to resist against anything. So card number one is about safety. It's about emotional security in this spread up. It's about what you need to feel safe, where you're secure in yourself, where you can get more secure. So this is cool because this card says, don't worry about it if it doesn't resonate with you. It's not for us. Part of the message for our awakening is it's not for us to resist or judge anymore. Not for us to even really worry about it. Just think about it. I think it's Abraham Hicks that says something kind of like, it's just something different. It's the abundance of the universe comes from the need for this vast continuum of everything. And if it doesn't resonate, just as quickly as you can, get to what does resonate. Card number two. This is cool. This card is vulnerability. There's a little fairy goddess, and she's asleep on a leaf. And she's kind of out in her own magical, watery space. And this is interesting because position two, card two, is about abundance. It's about feelings of abundance, feelings of plenty. This may be monetary prosperity, but money is one form of prana. And it describes the emotional breadth of your life is very full and sweet. But the message here is trust that there's already enough. There's no need to go out and keep giving away. It might be good for you to cultivate your own inner world right now and to cultivate your own knowings and appreciations of the abundance that is present, because that is how we call in more. We appreciate it. So this is, vulnerability is saying it's good to be vulnerable. It's good to be emotional, but this little fairy goddess, she's back to just taking a little nap by herself, and she's dreaming, and there's candles in the trees that are showing us that these are, the fire of abundance is present, but she's kind of in her own internal world appreciating it. Okay. Card number three. Woohoo, this is so perfect. This is right. So this is the spirit of dandelion. This is there's a goddess, and she's making a wish and blowing on the dandelion. I hope you can read this. When I do the full version, I'm going to make sure that you can see these cards in the video, but she's got, so this is so great. This is a goddess. She's got a tree branches coming out of her head, which is exactly what we were meditating about. And she's rooted down beneath the surface, but she's blowing on this dandelion, saying, make a wish. So position three in this spread is about regeneration. It's about exploring possibilities. It's about taking action that's needed to grow and to flourish. So this is also such a fortuitous card because this is saying anything's possible. Make a wish. Take action, but don't be afraid to wish. Fear is also what I'm getting, something that we get to, anything fearful is something that we get to let go. Let's go ahead and get to the fourth card. Oh, geez, there's two cards that came up. This is interesting. So there's going to be two cards. So this says ideal course of action. And the second one card says show your support. So ideal course of action. This woman has all of the natural kingdom around her. She's got this sort of beautiful Viking boat beneath her. She's got a reptilian on her head. She's super involved and one with the natural world. And she's looking off at a kingdom out there that is the kingdom of her dreams. Position four is about love. It's about emotions and relationships. So this could be a soulmate. This could be just general love, agape love. Show your support. Here is this beautiful rainbow goddess. She's got these sort of braids and dreadlocks, and she's interacting with a white rose and a member of the fairy kingdom. So this means anything that we can do, that you can do right now to show your support for the elemental kingdom is going to support you in staying connected to the natural world and in realizing that this kingdom that's off in the distance is totally possible. So this could be for love and relationships. This could be for love with the natural world. This could be love in general for one another. But connecting to the fairy kingdom and being supportive for them, being open to This is a good day to give gifts. This is a good day to make offerings. Put a little bit of honey or wine out somewhere, not to mess with the knot. Make sure this is why, when I use that ribbon, I use natural ribbon, but to make those offerings. I love, there's a little chalice of wine that I like to leave in my goddess circle for the fairies. And this is reminding me to do that today. So that's card number 4. And then lastly, we're going to get to position number 5. Oh my gosh, this is so great. Okay, this is also telling us we're right. This is, this says potential gateway. So here's this tree and it's rooted down, and it's showing us that beneath the surface of the earth is an entire other kingdom. This is what came through for the solar eclipse, that there are kingdoms beneath the earth, but then there's this beautiful green tree going up and out, and right in the middle of it is this portal. And it's a heart-shaped portal that's kind of leading us into Gaia, into the promised land. Position 5 is the future. And it shows, what are the what is possible, what are the lessons that we have learned, where can we go? So this is literally telling us, this is a blessing that we're all here. This is a blessing that this particular meditation is something that is so powerful and needed. And the cards are saying, let yourself move through this portal and let yourself continue to, almost at light speed, realize that anything is possible. So I'm gonna, as I mentioned, if you can't quite see those images, I'm gonna make sure that the video recording has the right images. So I wanted to get to then this gathering. So we're still connected to this tree energy. We'll close that in a second, but now we're gonna kind of consider the next 24 hours. What else can we do to bring this into our world away from this gathering? So that's gonna be, look at the natural world around you. Look at the herbs and the what's flowering, if anything. What trees present? What, when you walk outside, plant just kind of grabs your attention. That's going to be, and then if there are any animals that you see, so the plants can be something you can put on an altar. The animal energy is going to be, consider the totem, what that totem of that animal means. Also, I'm going to invite you to find your own piece of earth-friendly ribbon if you can, and make another wish and create your own wishing tree, because the other message that I'm getting, much like a lot of when we did the class on earth grids, we're all positioned exactly where we need to be right now. And so there's no, the oak is where the Celts, and the oak is a sacred day to Beltane, but you don't have to have an oak near you to be able to connect with the natural world. So with that, let's go back one more step to close this meditation, back to your sit bones, back to your body, and then back to your energetic roots going down. And you can still connect to that golden energy that from a Mother Earth that's pulling up, and pull it up into your heart. Just imagine there's this beautiful spiral of golden energy in your heart coming up through your energetic tree roots. Move next up through your trunk, out through your branches and leaves to the green energy that's surrounding you in the natural world. Pull that in through your leaves. Bring it into your heart. Let it swirl in your heart. Golden light, green light. And then right up to the top of your canopy, beautiful white light of spirit just streaming down. Bring it down into your physical body, down through your forehead, your face, down through your chest, down into your heart. So there's this trifold color now mixing in your heart. Golden light, green light, pure white light. So part of the message is you are the alchemy, you are the energy, you are the change. And we know our heart center is so powerful. So as if to finally close this, take all this light and create this feeling of immense humility and gratitude and powerfulness to be of service in this life. And when you're ready, cultivate that big idea of gratitude and just kind of send a pulse down into Mother Earth. Thank you. Send a pulse out in all directions to the natural world. Thank you. I honor you. Send a pulse up to the top of your head to the stars, the planets, the spirits. Thank you. I honor you. And then when you're ready, let that metaphor of the energetic tree fall away. Come back into your physical body. Come back into this gathering. And let it be that this is a sacred day that will be something that we can forever return to. We are at a very much of a tipping point here. I'll go ahead and stop the recording and I will give us some time for question and answer.